Okay, hello and welcome to Charlie's Desk. Today on the desk we have something totally weird that probably most people haven't heard of before. It's called the Possum Moon Writer. And if you haven't heard of moonwriting before, you can be forgiven, even if you're familiar with Braille. Moonwriting is something totally different. I'm zooming in the camera on the label for this plastic suitcase. It's from England. The label says Moon Writer, and then underneath it in a tactile linear font, it says Moon Writer in Moonwriting. And then it says Possum Controls Ltd. and Possum Controls Ltd. 8 Farnborough Close, Aylesbury, Ales, and that's a very English sounding address, isn't it? But moonwriting was invented by William Moon in the 19th century. It was a tactile linear font that was directed at people who lost their vision later in life, and they sort of couldn't imagine learning a dot font, and so they were just trying to sort of simplify the Roman text in a tactile way to make it more legible. But it's hard to make a typewriter that creates a linear font. That's the advantage of the dot fonts like Braille and New York Point, if you've been following the channel for a while, is because it's a lot easier to emboss a dot in paper than it is to make different lines. So here, let me zoom out. So now on the desk, on the screen, is this plastic suitcase. I'm forgetting when this is made, 70s or 80s. This will be more of a descriptive video, with maybe less information. That's just more about the device. So you can do the research more on your own. Oh, that's some kind of bird. All right, so I'm gonna click it open, lift it up, and adjust the camera slightly. So here we have it. It's like this kind of dull yellow color. It's made of plastic that's a little bit textured. It says Possum Moon Writer. It was distributed and made by the Royal National Institute for the Blind in England. And I'm just zooming in. There's blue font. There's a logo. And instead of 6 entry keys, and a space bar and maybe a backspace key or whatever else, for this one there's 2 keys, and then there's this weird ring thing, and then there's a pad with some indentations in it. And you use this to write in moon type. And so one of the buttons is like your standard space key that kind of works sometimes. Let's see if I can, this is kind of the clicking that, yeah, so the space key doesn't totally work. One of them is a space key, and then the other one of them controls whether the stylus is up or down. And when you depress that key and you put your finger in the ring and you drag it across, if you hear that scraping, that's me embossing a shape, or more likely just ripping some holes in paper, since I don't really know how to do it and the space key doesn't work great. So there is this line release button here that sort of works, but so let me adjust the camera position. Yeah, I was right, I definitely ripped a hole in the paper. So I'll pull it out, getting a sense of the sounds of it. And I'm just adjusting the camera so I can see to describe. Okay, so now we're kind of viewing from above, and we are sort of looking into the bowels of the machine. And instead of 6 little dots that go up and down, kind of like the pistons in a 6-cylinder engine, here there's one little stylus. And when I depress the button, it just moves up slightly. And then I am moving the ring around on the pad, and the stylus is moving around in whatever direction I choose, and the depressions in the pad let you follow, an X, a circle, straight lines. There's some dots for different sizes. But honestly, I haven't gotten the hang of it. So right now the camera is zoomed in on the stylus, and when you press one button, it raises it up to make contact with the paper. You move the ring around, it moves the stylus, you're embossing the paper. Now this is visible because there's a felt covered cap that covers the whole line of the paper, because to emboss you need something on the top side too. You need some kind of resistance that helps you emboss without ripping the paper. So there's kind of felt on this bar, and that's sort of sandwiched on the top of the paper. So now I'll load up the paper and see if I can readjust my camera and make a better mark. It's really hard. And I just want to send appreciation out to the person who located this and got it over to me here. They were totally awesome, and I apologize for the lateness in getting this video out about moonwriting, because he was like, nobody really knows what this is. And that's because moonwriting kind of fell out of favor, because Braille is just easier. Even if you lose your vision later in life, it seems like the consensus is Braille is easier to learn than a linear font. And also, this is the one example I'm aware of something that writes a linear font. I don't know of any other typewriter. So you could read a book, but there's no two-way communication, and that's kind of important from a writing system. So now I am loading a piece of paper, and then I'm locking the bar over the writing area, and that's got the felt top, and then I'll see if I can write my name. Okay, I'm pressing down the button to raise the stylus. You should hear a little scratching. Okay, I tried to draw a C. Now I need to get it to move a space. Okay, I got it to move a space. Okay, I'm going to position the stylus without pushing down on the key so I don't rip it. Push down, I'm gonna try and do my H. Ooh, okay. Try and get it to move one more space. Move the stylus without depressing the key. Make my attempt at an A. That's cha. Okay, we're getting there. This is painfully slow. So you can imagine probably being faster at it if you're used to it, but also going letter by letter and having to draw the whole thing instead of just, being an intuitive keystroke for Braille. You can kind of see some of the disadvantages here. And there we go. It's gonna move one more space. Okay, got it to move one more space. Now let's try an R. So yeah, this is the Possum Moon Writer. It almost sounds like kind of an English Shakespearean insult. If you've ever looked into Shakespearean insults, there's a lot of fun ones. You Possum Moon Writer. So yeah, I don't know. All right, I tried a couple letters. Let's see what came out. Oh, it's totally bizarre. All right, it doesn't look that great, folks, but I was able to emboss a linear font with this Possum Moon Writer. I'll make some more videos where I actually jump in and talk about the history of William Moon, because what he did is pretty cool, and it's a great way into talking about other linear fonts, which I've talked about in some other videos. But yeah, here it is, the Possum Moon Writer. I'll take my phone out of the tripod so I can get a better view for the sighties. But yeah, it's this weird yellow plastic, so it's from the 80s, and it's only got 2 keys on levers, and then this really weird key stylus system that you operate with your pointer finger. And then other than that, it kind of looks like a typewriter, like an IBM era, Selectric era typewriter. So totally bizarre, but very cool. All right, thanks for tuning in to Charlie's Desk. Please subscribe, or, you know, whatever else. Request some videos. I know Harmony asked for a video about different types of cane that I've been thinking about, and I'm looking forward to making at some point. So hope you have a great evening, and or whatever time of day it is when you watch this. And talk to you later. Bye.